Okay, onward and upwards. Let's do an open read. Let's just see what it says this morning. Give them a good ruffle shuffle here. And let's see what we get. One more. Okay. So let's pull our cards first and then we'll look at them and see if we can figure out what it's saying. Okay, so first thing driving it is the Knight of Wands. Actions. Miss Lily. Fighting, going forward, actions taking place. When it comes to an ending, of an action in the transitory realm, okay? So, holding on, there's a fight coming and something is going to end, okay? The divine feminine, what's taking place according to an ending. So the energy coming into it, we have out in the cold. Being out in the cold when it comes to some things about, now this could be either generational families or it could be also the Republican Party, Republicans ending out in the cold when it comes to some things from the past. So some things from the past, this action coming up and ending some things, maybe Republicans may be ending some things, but let's go ahead and continue forward. So what's happening today? It's about the burden. Underneath of it, pushing it, is this burden, this action that is just too heavy. There is a big retreat on this ending. Republicans retreating when it comes to this being pushed to the edge, okay? Pushed to the edge and trying to stave off this difficult action. Very heavy to carry, and mentally they're pushed back from it when it comes to standing guard, being pushed to the edge. So what we have, the challenge is the craziness of this. The craziness, the things that have been done by the dark of night when it comes to the long term, and democracy, when it comes to long-term democracy, or just controlling the emotions when it comes to the drama. Potential outcome, the swords are out. The swords are out. The truth is weighing down. when it comes to those that were engaging in this, close to it. And as you can see, they are now all heavily clothed. Yes. So those that were supporting this are now seeing this heavy truth coming out and again feeling a loss. There is a loss in the air. And the extra information on this, when it comes to this leadership, a message about an action, and figuring out a next move. Figuring out a next move. So let's go ahead and see if we can look at this. More extending things, a tower moment. Tower moment when it comes to the life path, life choices being made. And so mentally charging forward when it comes to that manipulation that wants to be put in place by, guess who? Trumpenstein. Okay? So it's not looking good for Trump. He's not going to get what he wants. There are more people rising up against it that were big Magatonians before. They're jumping ship. So we look at this and we see a new action in the world about the past when it comes to standing guard, being pushed to the edge for democracy, and this feeling of a loss ending. Some Republicans are just mentally backed out from this when it comes to the long term and continuing to be 100% supportive of Trumpenstein. Okay, the lovers, long term, it's like, yeah, no. So they're charging forward out in the cold with the burden of this just mental decline, things done by the dark of night, this whole Project 2025 and this bill they're trying to put into place. Again, we have the swords out, harsh swords of truth coming out, the mental realm, that this is just, over the top. So charging forward with the mental things weighing them down, facing a loss when it comes to this putting in action. The center of it, we have mentally backed out from the burden of carrying this and continuing to fight to support it, to stave it off. They're looking at mentally backing out when it comes to the Republican Party for the long term. They're looking at the past craziness, and they just said, I'm backed out, I've had enough of it. And being out in the cold when it comes to democracy or comes to supporting his emotional dramas. So the Republicans are wanting to end some of this and mentally say we're out of it, looking at being out in the cold when it comes to some of the past things that they've done. People are not happy with it. So action being done by them because of the burden that's going on. They will charge forward with new actions when it comes to this feeling pushed to the edge. When it comes to the long term, they've mentally backed out being lovers of Trump, okay, the Magatonians. They say that his emotional instability, they're looking at that. The mental realm is absolutely too much coming down now. The truth of all this stuff and the things that they've been pushed to the edge about. with having to put this agenda forward, and they're facing a loss for the long term with the burden that they've been carrying about these actions. Because their constituents are really not happy, okay? Their constituency is really not happy. Okay, so let's shuffle these and do a clarifying read and see what it says. It looks like some Republicans are tired of trying to defend this, big, beautiful bill, the most egregious thing that they've tried to ever put into place. With the most, money of debt coming in, the most cutting of aid. They're finding, the more and more this gets out, they're finding their people are not happy. So the center of it, it's what they're trying to get away with. The takeaway of the mentation that they're holding when it comes to this, okay? They're talking about the action. There's a message about an action with what they're trying to get away with. When it comes to controlling, when it comes to being able to control the monetary things and the concrete things of money, or, just the things needed, concrete. So when it comes to message about the action and the things they're trying to get away with, these are the Megatonian loyalists, okay? Those that were Trump loyalists. And they're looking at this, compassion or empathy or what's there, okay? When it comes to controlling all of the monetary things for all of the programs, wanting to get to a better place mentally with it. It looks like, some of them are maybe starting to get a conscience about it, okay? So when it comes to the lovers, yeah, some of them are saying, yeah, no, I'm backing out. Now, this is not to say all of them are going to back out or that the bill is not going to pass, but there are many more of them. The message about the action of what this administration's trying to get away with, many more of them are saying, no, I'm not going to continue to be a loyalist for Trump. They're looking at, again, holding on. This is the control of the emotions or democracy. And what we stand for, compassion and this control of these things. It could be also this attempting to control democracy, okay? But the lid is off when it comes to these things. And we have the queen action taking place, wanting to get to a better place. So it looks like some of the things have been changed in that. What's being birthed in America, looking at that. What's being handed out, okay? They've got this is trying to hold on. Maybe trying to preserve a few things, and more judgment is coming out on the table. Now, this judgment would affect them and their ability to be reelected, etc., by what's being handed out, okay? What the control of the money is, etc. So we have more justice when it comes to this the wealthy dynamic of it, and the fight that's in place with this now, with more messages coming out, difficult messages of truth coming out when it comes to the desires being pushed, okay? Ultimately, the desires and the tower moment that they see in place with this, and more sharing. As more sharing takes place, they see more things being worked on to temper much of this. So let's see what's being hidden. What's being hidden, maybe to be revealed, is the mentally wanting to be done with some of this when it comes to, guess who would be emperor. They're feeling constrained mentally, and some of them will be walking away, okay? Now, some of them could be walking away mentally. Some of them could actually, now we did see one of the Republicans that says he's not running again, and he's going to vote his conscience. He's not going to be a loyalist Magatonian anymore. And I've heard this guy say some really horrendous things before in support of Trump. But he's seemed to have turned a corner and said no more of this. So that's what I get this morning on the open read.